Hey guys, it's Sam, and I'm back with another impromptu topic video. You can tell because I didn't do my hair. So for this video, I was inspired by a comment I got, and actually a comment I get pretty much every single day, which is the topic of being afraid to draw something. Being afraid of change, being afraid of failure, all of this is kind of lumped together. So I figured I would also take this chance to explore some old sketchbooks of mine and just talk about this topic with y'all. So like I said, I get this comment pretty much every single day of, I'm afraid to draw. I'm afraid to draw hands. I'm afraid to draw feet. I'm afraid to draw animals, cars, perspective, backgrounds, realism, watercolor, acrylic, digital, just name something, and I've seen it mentioned both to me and just in general on the internet. We're afraid. We're all afraid to try new things. That's not unique to any one person. That's just part of how we've grown and who we are just as a society and individuals. We have comfort zones, safe zones where we feel confident and proud. We don't have to fear anything because we already know what we're doing. We don't have to think too hard. There's no challenge or conflict. Branching out, trying something new that involves effort, time to spend, and can also bring out fear. And just in case it wasn't obvious from the "this isn't unique to any one person" comment, I am not above this. I am not some special snowflake where I don't experience any fear at all. Just not true. I fear things all the time. I had many fears growing up as an artist, and I still have many fears as I continue to grow up as an artist. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of anything in general that's negative. But what is the absolute worst that can happen? I want you to take a second, maybe pause the video, really think this over. If you're afraid about drawing something, I want to ask yourself, what is the worst thing, worst case scenario? And don't get too crazy like, oh, my drawing could create a black hole and suck in the universe or something. Like realistic. What's a realistic worst case scenario? Did you think of something? Did you come back? You're good? You have a whole giant list, I'm sure. But from what I can decipher, at the very least for myself, I know everyone's different, the thing that I have seen most common in both myself and from what I can perceive and what I've asked of others is just, it won't turn out good, right? It'll look ugly, it won't show our strengths, it will reveal a side of ourselves that we don't want others to see. We don't want these negative comments, we don't want a negative reputation, we want our work to be loved and cared for. But if it's bad, then like, I guess this is kind of another topic, but how can anyone care about your art if it's bad? But that's a topic for another day. The TLDR of that is people do care. People love your art, no matter what you think of it. But there is no fear of ridicule or negative comments because we don't have to actually share them with anyone. We can actually keep them private, we can keep them personal. We can have our own sketchbook. I've mentioned this in some of my recent videos, that you can have your own personal private sketchbook that you don't show anyone, where you can experiment and try new things and go crazy and nobody has to know, nobody has to see them. You don't have to worry about what people will think about them because nobody will see them. We can hide our failures if we want to. And I know this is like social media and the day and age where we have to share absolutely 100% everything about our lives, and especially with people growing up with nothing but social media in their world, because when I grew up that wasn't really a thing. But just growing up now, the pressure to share and the pressure to just show everything is so intense, and we just have to remind each other and ourselves that there is still privacy, there is still personal space that we can make for ourselves if we want to. This fear we have of things not turning out good, of it being ugly, of it being a failure, it's holding us back. I used to be afraid to sketch in pen or marker, just any sort of permanent, unerasable medium where I don't start with pencil, I just go straight in with pen, and that terrified me. I was like, well, if I can't erase it, how can it be any good? Like, it's just gonna be so bad, one thing after another, it's gonna be awful, and I can't fix it, and just so much stress and anxiety. But I tried it out, and I told myself that it's okay for them to be bad. But what helped me more than anything at the time was that I had a source of inspiration. Saikra Yazin, if you guys don't know, is an amazing artist. He has a YouTube channel, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. He does lots of art tutorials and podcasts, and it's great, great, great stuff. He's an amazing person, and definitely go check him out. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. But he was someone that I really looked up to. I still look up to him, and he sketched, and he still sketches in pen in his sketchbooks. And seeing him do that was so inspiring to me. See him have those confident strokes, seeing him go in like it was nothing, and he was just having fun and doing his own thing. And I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. And it motivated me to push myself. I looked up to him. I still look up to him and his teachings. They're valuable to me. And if it's something that he loved doing, then surely it was worth it for me to try it out and just see what the hype was all about. And the first few times, they were so awkward, so embarrassing. I was so slow and using many lines, things that were jagged and lopsided. And it was, I felt so bad about it. But I told myself that it's pen. I can't fault myself for not being able to erase. I mean, unless you're using an erasable pen, but then that's kind of defeating the purpose. But I don't have the power to erase, but I do have the power to move on. And I can do another drawing and another drawing. And if I screw up, I can just go to the next one. And I keep going and going. And now I really love it. I love sketching in pen and marker, and I do it all the time. It's pretty much what I exclusively use for all of my sketchbooks. Plus, you know, look at this video. You can see my stuff so much better because it's not like really light hand graphite. But I love the mistakes. I love the weirdness I get sometimes because I can just move on. I can take what I learned and put it in the next one. I don't have to sit and erase and erase and erase until I get it perfect. That would just take an eternity, and because there is no perfect, there is no perfection. So I could sit there and erase and redraw as much as I want, and it would never really get me anywhere. I'm not putting down people, I don't mean to put down people who use graphite. If you like using graphite and you like erasing, that's fantastic. I'm saying for me, in my art journey, this was something that I needed to do. This was something I needed to explore. And I would have never known. I would have never found this love of using inks and permanent markings to sketch. I would have missed out on an opportunity to enjoy the creation process even more than I already did. So this was important for me. This was worth the risks that I took. Another thing I was afraid of, I was afraid of adding in backgrounds. So I would just always leave the white of the canvas. I would never do anything with it. But I saw people building these amazing scenes or even just simple shapes and patterns to fill in the space. I wanted to get better, and I looked at my idols as a way to bring myself up, to motivate me, and that's something that's really important. You want to be inspired by your peers. You want to be motivated by your peers. You don't want to look at somebody else's work or their art or whatever and put yourself down. You don't want to look at other people's arts and say, I'll never do that. I'll never be that good. I'll never do these things. I'll never. Or my art is so bad. And just constantly put yourself down. You don't want to do that. So I looked to Saikra, and I looked to many other artists, and I was able to get inspired and motivated to take that jump, take that leap. I mean, I had art in my mind, and I mean, I still do, that I wanted to create and bring into the world, but they were so intricate and detailed, and I just didn't have the skill to do it. And I mean, I still don't have the skill to do it, but hey, I'm trying. But I kept hearing over and over from the artists that I loved that you have to practice, you have to go outside your comfort zone, you have to experiment, you have to try. And so I tried. I tried, and I failed, and I tried, and I failed, and I kept trying, and I kept failing, and I keep trying, and I keep failing. One look over my DeviantArt gallery, and if you guys haven't looked far back into my DeviantArt gallery, there's my whole thing is there. My whole history of artworks, you can see the struggle, the battle, the story of my journey. I did simple patterns and shapes, very basic backgrounds. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing, and I still sometimes don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just doing. Over time, learning from my peers, researching on my own, testing things, I began to see what worked and what didn't. I began to learn what I liked and what I didn't like, and while I'm far from perfect, and I'll never claim to be, I found a love of backgrounds too, and as time went on, I even found myself looking for excuses to throw them in there, because why not? What's the worst that can happen? I don't hide my old art. I don't hide my failures, and I choose that consciously, because I know that my younger self would have loved to have seen them, to see that artists aren't these magical machines that just pump out content, that we don't know everything, and that we're always still learning, that we make mistakes, and we screw up, and we get frustrated and have dark times just like everyone else. So really, what's the worst that can happen? You'll learn. You'll get more comfortable with your tools. You'll grow, not only as an artist, but as a person. You'll get a new outlook on art and on life. You'll get brave, become more confident, you'll take risks, you'll laugh, and most importantly, you'll have fun. So thinking back to everything that I've done and everything that I want to do, I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to trying out more new things and being afraid but still trying anyway. And failing and loving those failures, because failing is the only way you're going to learn. You know, it's your journey, it's your story, and you get to choose how you want it to play out, how you want it to go. Okay, that was it for this video. Hopefully you found my thoughts helpful or interesting or something positive maybe. If you have any advice for anybody or even yourself for struggling to draw something new or take risks or anything, you can definitely comment it down below. You guys have been leaving some amazing comments on my recent videos, and they're actually really helpful for me too, so I really appreciate that. If you'd like to see more sketchbook videos, I have a playlist of all of them in the description down below. If you'd especially like to see old art, then definitely check it out. I think I have it going back to like 2000 or like 1999 when I was just a wee little Sam. But hey, if you liked this video, which hopefully you did, please share it with your friends or somebody you think this would be helpful to, just to spread some love. If there's any other art topic related things or just other videos in general you want to see me cover, you can leave a comment down below. And if you'd like to financially help support my channel, you can check out my Patreon page or my Ko-Fi Coffee page. I'll have them both linked in the description down below. And that's pretty much it, I think. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye!